Most people think making more money will fix their financial problems. But here's the uncomfortable truth. It usually doesn't. Across developed countries, most households save less than 10% of their income. And in places like the US and Canada, savings rates are often below 5%. So even as income rises, wealth doesn't. Why? Because lifestyle rises with it. And this is one of the most overlooked traps in personal finance. It's subtle. It doesn't feel like a mistake. In fact, it feels like progress. Imagine two people. David earns $80,000 a year. Michael earns the same. Same starting point, same opportunities, but they make one critical decision differently. David upgrades everything. He moves into a nicer apartment, leases a better car, starts spending more on convenience, subscriptions, eating out. Nothing extreme, just small upgrades that feel deserved. Because in his mind, I'm earning more, so I should enjoy more. Michael does something different. He keeps his lifestyle almost the same. Not forever, just long enough to build something. Instead of upgrading his life, he upgrades his assets. He invests the difference. At first, the difference between them is invisible. Their lives look almost identical from the outside. They both go out. They both travel occasionally. They both live normal lives. But underneath, something very different is happening. Michael is building momentum. David is maintaining appearances. 5 years later, they look completely different financially. Not because one earned more, but because one kept more. And more importantly, one invested consistently. This isn't just theory. Research from the OECD shows that people with stronger financial habits are significantly more likely to save, invest, and build long-term wealth. And long-term investing is one of the strongest predictors of financial security. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most people don't fail financially because they earn too little. They fail because their expenses grow just as fast as their income. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it happens quietly. You get a raise and suddenly you move to a better place. You upgrade your phone. You start ordering more instead of cooking. You justify more deserved purchases. And each decision feels small, harmless, but stacked together, they eliminate your future. And just like that, nothing changes. Your income went up, but your financial position didn't. This is why someone earning $50,000 a year can build wealth, while someone earning $150,000 stays stuck. Because income alone doesn't create wealth. The gap between income and spending does. And that gap is everything, because that gap becomes investments, assets, freedom, opportunities. Without that gap, there is no leverage. Now think about this. If you earn $100,000 and spend $95,000, you have $5,000 working for your future. But if you earn $70,000 and spend $40,000, you have $30,000 working for your future. The second person is building wealth 6 times faster, not because they earn more, but because they keep more. And what they keep compounds. Warren Buffett is one of the best examples of this. He didn't build his wealth in one big moment. He built it slowly through decades of consistent investing. In fact, most of his wealth came after the age of 50, not because he suddenly became smarter, but because compounding had enough time to work. This is how wealth actually grows, not in bursts, but in layers, small amounts, repeated over time. That's compounding. And compounding doesn't care how much you start with. It only cares that you keep going. But here's the problem. Saving and investing requires something most people struggle with. Delaying gratification, saying no today for something bigger tomorrow. And that's difficult because we live in a world designed to make spending easy. Everything is optimized for convenience. One-click purchases, buy now, pay later, endless upgrades. You don't feel the cost immediately, but you pay for it over time. And there's also social pressure. You see people online upgrading their lives, new cars, better homes, expensive experiences, and it creates a silent expectation that you should be doing the same, even if you can't afford it. So people don't just spend to enjoy, they spend to keep up, and that's where most people get stuck. They prioritize comfort today at the expense of freedom tomorrow. But the data is clear. Higher savings rates dramatically reduce the time it takes to reach financial independence. The more you invest consistently, the faster compounding works in your favor. So the real question isn't, how much do I make? It's, how much do I keep and invest consistently? Because wealth isn't built in big moments. It's built quietly, through discipline, through consistency, through decisions no one sees. And this is the part most people miss. Wealth doesn't come from what you show. It comes from what you don't spend, from the upgrades you delay, from the habits you repeat, from the gap you protect. And once you understand that, you stop chasing income alone and you start building leverage, because income gives you options. But discipline turns those options into results. If this changed how you think about money, hit the like button and subscribe for more breakdowns on systems, wealth, and real-world decision-making. Because the next video reveals a hidden financial behavior that keeps most people stuck, no matter how much they earn. And once you see it, you won't look at money the same way again. See you in the next video.